Hello everybody. So today I want to talk to you about what happens after the police have charged somebody and they are then released, and part of the conditions include that you can no longer return to your home except for one occasion to pick up your private property, and thereafter you have to either get a court order or make arrangements through a lawyer or through a third party to have access to your children. Now these conditions are very problematic for a lot of people because once those conditions are in place, you can no longer go back to your home, and if you were to communicate with your spouse or child or anybody against whom an order has been made for you not to communicate, you could face a breach charge, and that can carry with it 30 days in jail. Now on a lot of occasions people call the police on a spouse because they're upset or angry about something and they're not expecting all this fallout, and what ends up happening is as soon as somebody gets charged, they're no longer allowed to come back into the home. And it doesn't matter if the wife or the children now want the father to back home. What they have to say is no longer relevant to the police and no longer relevant to the Crown. All that matters to the police and the Crown is that an allegation has been made, and once it's been made, it's got to go through the court system to figure out whether or not the guy actually did what he's alleged to have done. Now, as far as the man, if he's charged with this offense, he's concerned. They're in a panic because they can't go back to their home, they have nowhere else to live, and they have to try and find further accommodations. And most of the people end up focusing on that issue and neglect the most important part, which is not only do you have to find a place for yourself, but you have to move really quickly to family courts to try and gain access to your children. Because if you don't do that, in a lot of these cases, the access denial starts, and then the mother or whoever it is that calls the police and has the other parent removed starts taking steps whereby they start telling the children things which then the children start accepting as truth, and the next thing you know is that the children start to feel that they can no longer communicate with the father or the mother who's been removed from the home, and pretty soon the children start building a resentment against that person, not unrightly, because what they see is that the father or the mother was removed by the police. The police, their children obviously understand as being people in authority, so surely the children believe that the police did the right thing. And then if you have a parent who starts feeding them bad and wrong information, the children start developing ideas and ideology which fosters that belief. So if you are somebody who's been removed from your home, you cannot just sit around waiting for your spouse to give you access to your children. You need to get yourself a good lawyer, start your family proceedings right away, because the longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes for you to get into court and tell a judge that you want to see your children, that you're a loving father, you're a loving mother, but the fact that you waited a month or 2 months or 3 months to get into court will be something that will be looked against you, and it will be disfavorable. So when something like that happens, you should have a lawyer, and you should be moving simultaneously to family court and defending yourself in criminal. The two are not things that should be dealt with separately, independently. Think about it. If you claim that you have done nothing wrong and you've been falsely accused, why should you be waiting to get into family court to try and see your children, or wait on the wishes of the parent who had you wrongly accused and removed from the home, and then wait until they feel like they're going to hand over the children to you, you go and see them? Remember, nobody has a right to the children. Neither the mother nor the father has a right to the children. Neither of them have the right to get access to the children. It's the court who's going to ultimately determine the children's right to see their mother and the children's right to see their father. Focus on the children. And if you are in this predicament where somebody's called the police on you, have you arrested, and you can no longer return to your home, first and foremost, get yourself a good lawyer who knows the criminal and family litigation, and move to family court right away. Because the longer you wait, the more unlikely that a judge is going to be able to give you access the way you want it. And remember, in family law in Canada, it doesn't matter whether you're a father or mother. You have the right to try and get as much access possible to your children, and that can be a 50-50 split. It can be 1 week with the mother and 1 week with the father. But the longer you wait to take steps, the longer and more difficult it becomes for you to then reintegrate yourself into the lives of the children. So move quickly and don't wait around.